Hi there, this is Ben Adamson from Veeam Software. Today we're going to take a look at a few key reports within Veeam ONE which give us some better management within Veeam Backup and Replication. Really taking a look at how we can stop being reactive, get a bit more proactive, and remove a bit of the babysitting around how we look after our backup jobs. Previously, we might have had a look at how to structure those backup jobs so that we're backing up containers rather than individual VMs. So as people are provisioning VMs into those containers, they're being added automatically to the backup job. Now that kind of scenario in particular, we need to get some additional monitoring and reporting over that because we might have some unpredictable outcomes in terms of what happens with our backup storage and things like that. So first of all, if we have a look at that aspect, I'm trying to understand with the backup storage. For instance, in an environment where we've got a bunch of administrators, different people creating VMs, and then those VMs getting added into backup jobs, it becomes a bit less predictable as to the consumption of that backup storage. So within Veeam, obviously we reference them as repositories, and say in a given scenario we've got 200 days left until that storage is full, an administrator comes in and adds 25 virtual machines, and then all of a sudden we've only got 17 days left. So that kind of scenario, we'd want to know about that pretty quickly, and therefore be able to either rearrange our storage or provision some more storage or whatever we need to do to be able to make that a better outcome. So what we do get within Veeam ONE is this ability to do some capacity planning for backup repositories. So having a threshold which we're comfortable with, and I guess that's a threshold where we'd still feel that we've got a little bit of leeway. We're not 100% full, so the backup jobs aren't going to stop. We've got a bit of an ability to plan beyond that with some additional spindles or whatever within our environment. So I'm going to set that a little bit lower. Within our lab, we've got a bit more free space. So we're going to set that at 75%, and then we look at the number of days we're looking forward. So what I would do is be thinking about how many days do I want to be looking forward to make sure that I'm comfortable to provision that storage, purchase the requirements, and get it installed. So maybe you'd be more likely to look at something like 90 days rather than 30 days, just making sure that you're able to actually react in a timely fashion. Also keeping in mind that you might automate this report to run once a week or something like that. So just giving yourself a bit of a longer time frame. So let's have a look at what happens when we run that report. What we're going to get is a bit of an overview of what our repository environment looks like, and then we're going to get some nice solid outcomes in terms of understanding how many days until that threshold is achieved, if it hasn't been achieved already, and then how much storage would we have to add if we did want to get to that day. So if we wanted to get 90 days out, how much storage would we have to add? So we can see here, once we've got that report generated, we get that overview of the infrastructure, and then we get the idea down a bit further in the summary view, sort of how many days left we have with what's going on in that environment at the moment. So based on the kind of increases we're seeing in backup storage utilization, when are we going to probably need to add some more storage? So we've got some there that are sitting at sort of infinity, which means that they're trending, potentially not trending negatively at all, or a flat. We've got some there that are sort of in the 100 days, 400 days, so we're not going to have to worry about them in the near term. The scenario, I guess, is that we're looking out for is that one we mentioned, though, where we've got someone suddenly provision a bunch more VMs into the backup. We have a drastic change in that scenario, and we're able to pick that up straight away. So we can see how we get a great deal of value out of that really quickly, and we wouldn't really have the potential to as easily slip into that situation where we're actively having to manage the backup storage, which is something we always want to try to avoid. Now, another really useful report is protected VMs. Now, protected VMs is a really useful report in that what we're looking at is not the success and failure of jobs, which is obviously really useful information, but it's more consistency with our RPOs. So if we have a restore point objective for the virtual machines, which is 1 day, we want to know how many of those VMs are actually falling within that restore point objective. Now, to me, that's pretty valuable information as an administrator, really equipping you with an understanding of if you're meeting your SLAs, be they internal or external, and whether your machines are actually backed up to the extent that you think they are. Now, you've probably architected your jobs really carefully, you're getting a backup every single day, etc. But is there some creep within that, which means that your backup's actually older than they should be in terms of what you're meant to be delivering? So if we have a look at this report, This is a kind of report we'd run every single day, and it's going to give us an overview, basically in a sort of a pie chart view, how many machines are within RPO, how many are outside RPO, and then just detail those machines for us. Now, if there are machines that are going to be consistently out of that, then we would exclude them just via the exclusions in the report, and then we would aim to not see those again. So we're really sort of just trying to get that daily report happening where we can stay across. Sure, we've probably got a few machines which might be excluded from jobs, but really essentially most things should be falling within that green wedge of the pie. So if we have a look here in our report, we've got protected VMs. 36 of these are not falling within our RPO of a day, and 18 of them are. So that's something that every day we would actively work on to ensure that we're getting as big a green wedge of the pie as we possibly can, and then getting some insight. So I guess for me, where I see the value is that we're using the containerized backup jobs to initially remove the babysitting from ensuring that VMs are getting backed up and ensuring that the infrastructure is being looked after. But then we're putting another layer on top of that, which is basically saying that what we want to avoid is any kind of deviation from normal. So are we having machines that for some reason are not being backed up within their RPO, and we need to intervene there? And then on the other hand, are we having issues with that underlying infrastructure? Is the storage starting to fill up, and is that something that we need to address? I know, hopefully this has been useful for you. There's a lot more resources on the website at veeam.com, and if you'd like to reach out, feel free to do so. Thank you. Bye.